Best bites forever.
Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Chef Alicia, and in this video you'll learn to make blueberry pie. I'm starting off here by putting 3/4 of a cup of sugar into my bowl. I'm also going to add 4 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, along with a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. Put that to the side, and then I'm going to puree some blueberries. Here I have 2 cups of blueberries, and I'm going to pulse them in my mini food processor until they are nice and pureed. You do still want them to have a few chunks in here, just like so. Don't worry, because I am going to give a full list of ingredients in the description. My daughter Tia is going to stir up those dry ingredients for me really quickly, and then we're going to add in those pureed blueberries. Once you get your blueberries added into your dry mixture, just give it a nice stir until everything is really well combined. I'm going to give just a little help out there and finish the stirring. I'm going to put that to the side, and then I'm going to zest 1 lemon with my handy little zester here. Once I finish zesting my lemon, I want to go ahead and get everything into a nice neat little pile, and then I'm going to run my chef knife over it just a couple of times to get it into smaller pieces, and then I'm going to add that into my pureed blueberry mixture. Then I want to cut my lemon in half, put it into my lemon juicer, and just give that a little squeeze. I only need about a tablespoon of lemon juice, maybe a tablespoon and a half. I'm going to add that into my mixture, and once again give that a nice little stir. I'm going to put this over to the side while I make my pie crust. So in here I have 2 1/4 cups of flour. It's 1 cup of all-purpose and 1 1/4 cups of pastry. I've also added in a teaspoon of salt and a tablespoon of sugar. I'm going to stir that up and then add in 14 tablespoons of vegetable shortening, and I'm going to use my pastry cutter to go ahead and get that really well mixed together. If you're not really familiar with making pie crusts, I do have a video tutorial that will show you in more detail of how to make a pie crust. But once you get it to this stage, you're going to add in some water. I added 3 tablespoons, and then I give it a little stir, and I continue adding water a tablespoon at a time. I only added 2 more to end up at this texture. I'm going to take this and cut it not quite in half, because I want just over half. This is my big side for my bottom crust, and then the smaller side will be for my lattice. I'm going to take both pieces and I'm going to put them into baggies, which I'm going to place into my refrigerator for about 15 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm adding 3 more cups of blueberries into my puree mixture. But this time I'm going to go ahead and keep those blueberries whole. So I'm just going to fold them in there until I have them pretty well combined. And then these are ready to go into my pie crust, which isn't the prettiest pie crust that I've ever rolled out. I kind of had to piece a couple of pieces together, but it won't matter in the end. Go ahead and fill it up and kind of even out your blueberries a little bit, just so that you have a nice flat surface to build your lattice on. So when you roll out a pie crust, you go like a plus and then an X. So I started at the middle and I did up from the center, down from the center, side from the center, and the other side, and then I did an X, the same thing. Always start back in the center and roll to the edges. The next thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and cut my strips. I'm using a ravioli cutter to do this, or a noodle cutter, because it has kind of that fluted edge to it, and I think it gives it a prettier look. If you want to have perfect straight lines, use a ruler. I'm not at work today, so I'm not. I'm just doing a homemade pie for fun here. So I'm going to go ahead and take my strips and lay them across my pie shell like so. Just do it the best you can as far as the fitting, and then you're going to pull up every other one. So you can kind of make a choice here if you want to have the square shape or if you want it to look more like diamonds or X's. I'm going with kind of the diamonds today. I'm going to peel back once again every other strip, and then I'm going to lay another piece of my lattice across there. Again, every other strip is coming back, so I'm just alternating back and forth. As you can see, I'm adding these strips here going across, and then I'm going to lay my pie back down. I think you're kind of getting the hang of that, so I'm going to speed things up, and as you will see, I am simply continuing to add my strips going across to form my beautiful lattice, and this is looking really nice. Don't worry about what the sides look like for now, because they're going to look pretty when we're all finished, I promise. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start folding all of those ugly rough edges over. So basically I'm pulling the lattice strips along with the pie dough that was hanging over, and I'm just pinching it at the top. So I have worked my way all the way around, just kind of pinching that dough into itself, and then I'm going to start forming my fluted edge. To do that, I just push down with one finger, and then I take my other hand and just kind of pinch the dough and push it up against my finger. I'm going to show you again here. Just use your finger, push down, and pinch it towards it. So you can kind of see as it's going around what is happening here, how I'm getting that nice pretty fluted edge. I'm going to work my way all the way around, and then I'm just going to kind of tap lightly on the top of it so that there are no like tall peaks that will burn in the oven. Here I have 1 egg yolk plus 1 tablespoon of cream, and that is going to act as my egg wash. Using this is what gives that nice shiny kind of look on top of your pie. So try to just stay on your pie crust, not like me, because I obviously just kind of got it down into the blueberries, but just a tiny little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and continue doing this until I get it all covered, and then I just have a little bit of sugar in my hand. If you happen to have the large grain sugar, that works better because you can kind of see it after your pie is finished baking. But in this case, I am just using a regular granulated sugar to put around my lattice. Here I have some pieces of butter, and I'm just going to kind of start breaking those into teeny little pieces and putting it where the blueberry filling is. So I'm going to go ahead and continue doing that until I get a tiny little piece of butter into each one of these holes here, and it's going to look like this. So this is ready to go into the oven. I'm going to put it on a foil lined sheet pan in case it boils over at 325 degrees for 45 to 50 minutes, and this is what it's going to look like. Don't even think about cutting into this for at least 4 hours because it will not be set up. And this is what your lovely pie will look like when you cut into it.